Hey, Austin, welcome in, and thanks for taking the time to do this with us today.
Thank
As
you.
Yeah, of course, as year two kind of gets underway here for you this off season, I'm sure you've been training for a while now, but looking back at this time a year ago, how would you compare where you are now compared to then from both the physical and mental standpoint?
Um, well, things are a lot different when you're not in a pandemic, first and foremost, obviously. So, being able to just have way more access to resources this year as opposed to last year certainly helps a lot. Getting my feet set for my second year, having more knowledge, knowing a little bit more what to expect um, is pretty good. And I would say that's probably the biggest difference from this time last year to this time this year.
And if I could just follow up real quick on kind of the same topic, we had Liam Eichenberg in for media, and he talked about working out with you once upon a time and witnessing and admiring the Dolphins culture from both you and then Durham Smythe, who he knew from Notre Dame, obviously. I just wanted to get your perspective on that workout and what you've seen in Liam's game.
Uh, yeah, I've watched. We did work out recently. Before all this kind of unfolded, and he's a great player. Honestly, always has been. You turn on his Notre Dame tape. I came from USC, SC guy, so I always respected what the O line was doing over there and what he was doing. Especially after guys like uh, Mike McGlinchey and Quentin Nelson left. He stepped in and he did a great job. So we're excited to have him with us. I think he definitely fits the culture of what we're trying to build, and I think he adds a good piece for us.
Adam?
Yeah, I'm curious. The last few months, were you here? Were you in California? Were there instructions from coaching staff, things to work on this offseason? And was putting on a little bit of weight one of those things?
Was the last part you said was putting on a weight one of those things?
Yeah. Were you asked to put on some weight this offseason? Did you?
Um, no, I wasn't asked to put on weight. Uh, Obviously every year, or that's not obvious, but every year, you want to kind of try to take off bad weight and add more good weight. But, his muscle is heavier. So just working out and making sure my technique is consistent. And yeah, it's hard to pick one thing to work on, because I'm pretty much working on everything. But I can say that knee bend and getting lower is something I've been working on, my flexibility. And strength and conditioning and torque power, turn power, all that stuff. That's something we as offensive linemen work on every day. So
Have you seen strides in those areas?
Yeah, most definitely. Especially being able to have a year under my belt, know what to expect, know how it's going to look in person. You can take that knowledge and put it into your training, which helps a lot. So it helps a lot.
Thanks.
Hey, Austin, it's good to see you. Look forward to seeing you in person one day.
Hopefully.
Hey, you got a new offensive line coach, Coach Lem. Tell us about how he approaches teaching and how you guys connect.
He approaches teaching very well. We had him on staff last year, so it's not like he's a brand new guy. We'd never heard him coach before, stuff like that. So he's a great teacher and a great coach. We're excited to have him. He does a great job with all of us in general, making sure we're on the same page. Well, as offensive linemen, the front five got to work as one. So a big part of that is all of us being able to communicate and be on the same page. I think he does a great job at that.
Omar?
Seems like you're going to get a new partner to work with at the left guard spot. Obviously, there's a lot of mixing and matching going on right now. You talk about chemistry and how important it is. How do you establish that when you've got so many guys mixing in there?
I think the best thing for me is to make sure that, I know both positions, make sure that I'm able to communicate and, I don't want to say help whoever steps in, but so that I can be of assistance if I need to be. And so that I could even know what they're doing. It just makes my game that much better and makes it easier for the left guard as well.
If I could follow up on that question also to piggyback on something you said earlier about pandemic. It's better now. You got more resources, more access, more wisdom. What do you hope as a unit? We can't call you guys rookies anymore. You guys learn and took from what you did last season, and it helps you become a better line.
So like, what can we take from last year to make us a better line? I'd say it's one thing we can take from last year, just going through adversity. And I think when you go through a lot of adversity and coming out the other end of it, you kind of learn how to just be consistent in yourself and what you can control. So the things you can control as a football player is what you do on the field, how you take care of your body, showing up every single day. And I think we got a real good glimpse of that last year, which will help carry us over, into the future and being able to lock those things down. And, if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. So we're just going to keep it moving with that.
Yo, Steve.
Austin, there's been this adage around the NFL for many years that players make their biggest improvement between their first and second season. Does that ring true to you?
Yeah, that's what everyone's been saying. I've heard that a lot as well. That's how I've been working too.
So how exciting?
I would agree.
How exciting is that from a personal standpoint, that idea?
From a personal standpoint, it's really exciting. As a competitor and as a teammate, I definitely want to go out there and do everything perfect, for myself and for my team. So having that kind of expectation, but also having the knowledge of what needs to be done, it's exciting. It excites me a lot, and I'm looking forward to it.
Joe?
Austin, I wanted to ask you about Tua. Does he look a little different to you? Does he seem a little different to you this time around?
He's got a beard. He's got a beard. Yeah, he's got a beard. Maybe a little more bass in his voice. But,
What about his biceps?
I haven't looked at his biceps. but yeah, he's doing good. I saw him. Well, I see him a lot, but he's been working hard every single day, just like all of us. And that's my guy. So yeah, he's a great kid. He's looking good too, and he's working hard.
Alan?
Hey, Austin. Thanks for doing this. So last year, you guys had 3 rookies who wound up starting a lot on the line with you, Solomon, and Robert. So that having been said, and with the expectation of the year 1 to year 2 jump, what kind of jump as a whole for the offensive line is fair to expect in 2021?
I would expect the type of jump from the offensive line. First and foremost, we look back to our values and how we want to see ourselves. We have our own kind of, culture in the room. We want to be tough, disciplined, detailed, and nasty. So all those 4 words are kind of, what we aim for. And I think you can see a big improvement in those aspects. We want to do our job well. No, we don't have any errors, and we want to do it fast and do it, with a sense of urgency.
If I may quickly follow up, have you had conversations with Solomon and Robert about you 3 guys like being the foundation for this offensive line for years to come and all that entails?
It sounds nice to say, but at the end of the day, what it really comes down to is you got to look at what's in front of you right now. So right now, between all of us, our head is on this next season, you know, and what we can do, however it plays out, and making sure each one of us individually is putting the work in to be better and help those around us. For years to come, yeah, I love it. That sounds great. But just keeping the reality of it, you know what we want to do next year. So that's kind of where we're at for now.
Lewis?
Hey, Austin, thank you for coming on with us. So I wanted to ask, whenever a new player comes into the offensive line room, it's like adding a new cog to the machine. So how long would you estimate it takes to like get everything running smoothly the way that you see it?
Between,
like, for instance, you add a new person, you have to gain chemistry with that person, you have to get an idea of how that's going to affect the entire offensive line. How long do you think it takes to really build that chemistry to the point where it says, okay, I know how you function, let's make it go?
I would say it's hard to give an exact timestamp, but I would say maybe after, you know, I can't even give you a timestamp, but I do know that, you know, with us having new people in, everyone in the O-line room and on our team in general does a good job of, you know, bringing them in, bringing them up to speed, communicating so that we can all get on the same page rather quickly. In terms of gelling and being completely in sync, I would say like, you know, couple practices, couple extra walkthrough sessions like we have been doing. Yeah.
Oh, there's two more hands up. We'll go to Mike and then Travis.
Hey, Austin, I'm not going to ask you how big Tua's biceps are if he's flexing for you, but you mentioned about the nastiness of the offensive line. Does that really start, though, in these offseason workouts and programs and not really once you hit training camp?
Definitely. It's a mentality. You know, you can't just show up and be nasty. You got everything you train for has to be, you know, aggressive and with intent. So it definitely starts now with how we train ourselves to go to battle.
If I can follow up real quick, compared to a year ago in the midst of COVID, it's opening up a little bit now. There are about 70 guys, I believe, the offseason workouts at camp. Is it different right now? I mean, is the feeling more upbeat right now that things are changing? You guys can do more and it's a little bit more open?
Oh, definitely. You know, last year was very unusual for, I think, everybody. You know, I think everybody in the world had an unusual last year. NFL definitely was affected. You know, we have all our drafted guys down here already, you know, but my class, we weren't able to do that. So, you know, it's a big difference. I think we're all excited to, you know, get over this thing.
If Tua does the most muscular pose, you got to take a picture, all right?
Okay.
All right. Okay. Hey, Austin, I'll end with this one, man. Earlier you mentioned, you know, adding good weight and getting rid of bad weight. So I just have to ask you, does that mean no more Saturday night ice cream?
You know what? You guys asked me that question, like, I think it was before the season even started. It was an ice cream question. And I think as the season went, you know, I think ice cream Saturdays have been done for a while. When I realized how the season was going to go and how many games we had. So that's done. And in terms of good weight being put on, that's just muscle. That's just learning, you know, what your body digests well and what it doesn't. Maintaining your body for the long season.